Welcome to We've Been Drinking MMA. This is our first fight on the prelims of the fight night of Gamrot versus Fiziev. This fight is Tamires Vidal versus Rendon. Her name is Montserrat Rendon. She's 5-0, Rendon is. And Vidal is got a great record herself at 7-1. And she only got subbed in her second fight, so she's basically, more or less, you could say, close to undefeated as well. So two really, really good records, even though they don't have too much experience. My pick is going to be Tamires Vidal.
My pick as well is Tamires as well. She throws a lot of kicks. The reason that she kind of hesitates because she wants to grapple. She wants to get it on the ground because she's looking for that submission.
For sure, like there are some things about Vidal that we like. Like she likes. It seems like she's comfortable striking. Like she likes to strike. When she throws, she throws with a decent amount of power.
You talking about Vidal?
Vidal.
Yeah. Especially with her last KO victory, she looks like she was setting up that knee.
In the UFC.
Yeah.
Her first fight in the UFC, she KO'd
that flying knee or jumping
Ramona
knee.
Pascual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she was setting that thing up and then boom.
Yeah.
And then it's over. Like Pascual hunched over and said, "Yep, it's done." It's like a walk away. Not many women walkaways, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, so, Vidal is 25 years old, and her opponent, Rendon, is 34. And the thing is, Rendon only has 5 fights. So it seems like she started her career the last 3 years ago at the age of 31. So it just seems like she's an okay fighter, but, she's...
USA debut is really tough.
UFC debut for her.
Yeah.
UFC debut. I think it's a bad matchup because Rendon does... Even though she kind of likes to pressure here and there, she doesn't really go for too many strikes. And she'll go for maybe try and hold you against the cage, try and body lock you. But she doesn't have phenomenal ways of getting you into the ground. Not talented that way.
She has that Jersey shell type striking, really stiff, but defensive striking. Like
yes.
The hands really close to the face, elbows close to the body. Like coming in straight forward.
Is it fair to say
really stiff?
Is it fair to say she doesn't really commit to her punches the way Vidal does?
Well, you can't get power behind it when your hands are like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Defensive, like Lousy just said. Yeah. So even though she's 5-0, it's all been decisions. So she doesn't have KO power, doesn't have the submissions. It's hard for her to take people to the ground. So it's just one of those fighters who has a 5-0 record. Outside the UFC, but this is her first fight in the UFC against a woman who just KO'd her last opponent in the UFC. So that's our pick, guys. It's Tamires Vidal. She's minus $250 to make 100, but we feel, it's actually worth I would say it's worth the price.
Yeah.
I would bet her straight up.
Worth the parlay.
With a parlay.
Money line is the way to go, I think.
I think so. I mean, who knows how she gets it done, but she's getting it done.
Yeah.
Right? Excited about this fight just to see Vidal do her thing, and we'll see what Rendon has to offer if she can get it into the third round or something like that. But Vidal, I think it's going to be an easy victory.
Yeah, comment on how we're doing. Subscribe if you want. Thanks. Welcome to We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. This is the second fight on the Gamrot Fiziev fight, and it's between Mizuki and Hannah Goldy.
Prelims.
Second fight on the prelims. I'm going Mizuki. She's a technical striker. She has good head movement. If there's a tie clinch or anything like that, she knows how to strike, knows how to get out of there. She has good angles on how she does things. She's just a better technical fighter in general.
I like her too. My pick is also Mizuki. Inoue is her last name, from Japan. She has been out for 3 years.
She tore her ACL.
Yeah, she tore her ACL. But yeah, she's actually, her results are, from the past. Verna Jandiroba split decision loss for a championship in Invicta. I mean, she's fought for the belt in Invicta, which essentially was the UFC for women.
Yeah.
Basically. So
and Amanda Lemos.
Yeah, and she lost to Lemos by decision, which is not bad considering Marina Rodriguez, who's second or third fight on this main card for this fight. Marina got knocked out by Lemos. And this girl survived Limo. So that's showing you the level of Mizuki. Not only did she...
How toughness.
Tough. And she puts pressure. It's not easy to time her. And she goes forward with combinations, head movement, like Lousy said. And like we said, decision or a split decision only loss. So close fight with Jandiroba for the championship in Invicta. So we're talking about a person who's got skills. And we're looking at Hannah Goldy. And one word comes to mind, and that would be slow.
Slow.
Very slow.
Very slow.
Like, you want to talk about, you see a tank roll, slower than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, basically, Hannah Goldy, even though she did okay outside the UFC, in the UFC, she has one win, and then after that, got 3 losses and 1 win. So, after her initial win, she's lost 3 out of 4. And the only person who she beat, she submitted her, Emily Whitmire, and 4 other people submitted Emily Whitmire, I think, in the first or second round. Yeah. So Whitmire doesn't belong here.
It's like a
Hannah Goldy doesn't belong here.
Win or she's out of the UFC type thing.
Right. And so you could just see Hannah Goldy, she doesn't throw. Yeah. She just doesn't throw.
She's a grappler that's strong. She's going to try to grab and hold on to or take her down.
But she's so slow, and Mizuki, I would say, is pretty fast. Legitimately fast.
Because she's
pretty
technical
fast.
And she's
confident.
She has those angles.
Yeah, man. So we're talking about a fighter who we think is slow, not confident enough to throw really almost any significant strikes. And this is one of those prelim phenomenal mismatches for us, where we like Mizuki, even though she's minus 250 with a 3-year layoff. She did tear her ACL 3 years ago. Minus 250, we still feel is a steal, I would say, Lousy.
Yeah.
Steal? Yeah, steal. And so, yeah, that's our pick is Mizuki Inoue. She's minus 250, $250 to make 100. But we feel it's just one of those beautiful, beautiful matchups for her. She's fast. Hannah Goldy is slow. And Hannah Goldy doesn't throw, and Mizuki throws with combinations, purpose. She doesn't throw with a lot of power, but a lot of punches. She'll throw a lot. Volume. Boom. There it is. So that's our pick, Mizuki.
Mizuki for the win.
Thank you for listening. Welcome. We've been drinking MMA. This is the third fight on the prelims for the UFC Fight Night. Gamrot versus Fiziev. So this is Jake Collier, heavyweight fight versus Mohammed Usman. And my pick tentatively is Mohammed Usman.
And my pick is I'm not going to put any money on it because this is not the fight to put any money on because you never know how this fight's going to go, but it's going to be inside distance. Jake Collier comes forward. He has combos. Mo Usman, he's more of an athlete than a fighter, in my opinion. But he has those looping strikes that can catch a chin. In his last fight versus Justin Tafa, was it Justin or Junior? Junior Tafa. He turned to a wrestler.
Mohammed Usman, yeah.
One of the most boring fights in UFC history. But he won.
He literally held him against the cage for 3 rounds, and then I don't even know if the takedown happened. Maybe it happened for a little bit.
He took him down.
A little bit.
And then he laid on top of him.
15 minutes.
15 straight minutes of that, and it was like, wow.
Wow.
Well, I think this is going to be a different type of fight. Jake Collier is going to come in with a different mentality. I think it's a win or be out of the UFC type mentality. So he's going to come forward, and he's going to stay coming forward. So his gas tank is not the best because he's a big man.
Yeah.
And he used to be a small guy, and now he's a big guy. So he used to be a 185er.
Wow. He's huge.
And he has to make way for 265.
Wow, he actually has to cut. Wow.
So,
yeah.
Well, have you looked at him? He's a big boy.
Pudgy guy, big guy. He does throw combinations.
Yeah, and he stays keeping forward. He loves the combos, and you never know. It's the UFC, and they're big guys. Yeah. One just takes one punch with the heavyweights.
Yeah.
So, so my pick is inside distance.
I mean, it's a close fight on the odds. It's basically a pick'em. Mohammed Usman is slightly favorite, minus 150, $150 to make 100, so very, very close on the odds. And Collier, slight underdog, $100 to make 125. So it's basically a pick'em, and that's why I feel like I don't want to put money either, bro. Like, all I really want to do is look at the first round, look at how Usman, is he fast enough? Is he keeping the distance smart, or is he wanting to brawl? Because if sometimes a guy like Collier, he puts that much pressure, all of a sudden you say, screw it. I'm sick of trying to run. Let's just go ahead and bite down on the mouthpiece, sit down on my punches, and see if we can trade. And then all of a sudden, the second or third strike of Collier hits you while you're loading up.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that can happen when you think you're so much better. He might be underestimating, that type of stuff against Collier. He might be underestimating Collier. And it's just one of those fights where Collier is going to be throwing a lot of strikes. Usman doesn't throw a lot of strikes. So Usman either probably gets the knockout counterpunch or he doesn't, and Collier just kind of keeps backing him up, and it could be a boring decision. Obviously, Usman can switch to wrestling and hold him against the cage and do things like that. But like we're saying, if Collier put so much pressure, it's not always easy to just get takedowns against a guy who's putting that much pressure. Yeah. For a heavyweight, it's a lot of pressure. It's not typical for a heavyweight. Like Lazi said, he came up for 185, so he's got the mentality of a dog of wanting to come forward, and he's not afraid to really go forward because he knows he's got good faster footwork than most heavyweights. So confidence is a big thing in the heavyweight division, right? So we want to wait for the first round definitely, and then possibly in the see how Usman is dealing with is he fast enough? Is he keeping the distance? Is he getting the timing down with getting out of the way and throwing counters? If not, I just let the fight go.
And the gas tank too.
Gas tank's a big thing in this fight. Yeah, again, we're talking about the pressure of Collier. You don't know how Mohammed Usman. You don't know how anyone really can handle that type of pressure sometimes. So it's like, it's close on the odds. I'm just gonna wait, see what happens in the first round. No shame in saying that.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Gut reaction, inside distance.
Inside the distance. Someone gets finished. So much pressure. Someone's going to get knocked out. Yeah, for sure.
So,
thanks for listening, guys.
Wait till the next fight.
Welcome, We've Been Drinking. This is the fourth fight on the prelims for the fight night of Gamrot versus Fiziev. This is fourth fight on prelim is Jacob Malkoun at middleweight versus Cody Brundage, and my pick is going to be Jacob Malkoun is minus 550 at this point, $550 to make 100, but he's still my pick even though he's very pricey. I just feel like he's got the better striking. He's got more takedowns per fight than Cody Brundage, and just overall better fighter. What about you, Lazi?
I think it's going to go to distance.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to be a striking match at all. This is going to be a wrestle grapple fest.
Makes sense.
So even though Brundage is actually, he has powerful takedowns, like double legs you. It has that around the corner type, picks you up with the double, actually gets his hands around you, lifts you up, and then turns the corner so you're not against the cage type takedowns. But Malkoun's with his pressure, that's all he does is take people down.
Yeah.
It's like eight takedowns a fight.
8 takedowns a fight.
So
unbelievable takedown average. And also Brundage has some power, so I could totally see what you're saying, Malkoun by distance.
Yeah. I think Brundage's last 3 fights he got knocked out. Is that true?
Yeah. He has been he lost his last 3 fights in a row.
Last 3 fights.
A unanimous decision to Dumas, then he got submitted in the second round by Vieira, and then he got knocked out by Oleg Sajak in the first round.
Walter White.
Yeah, our man who's solving chemistry problems while he fights, Great fighter from Poland, like a KO guy. Anyway, Brundage did take that fight on short notice. I think it was a month or even 2 weeks. But regardless, he did get knocked out, and he's going 3-fight losing streak. Whereas you look at Malkoun, he did get knocked out in his first fight versus Phil Hawes, who people know Phil Hawes. He's dangerous. And other than that, though, in his last 4 fights after that first fight in the UFC, he's 3-1. And
all decisions.
All decisions, and his only loss is to Brendan Allen, who's a top 10 fighter, and Allen finishes people. And the fact that he was able to go the distance with Allen means a lot 2 fights ago. So Allen's peaking, and he fought a primed Allen, and he did okay. He only lost by decision rather than getting finished. Not bad.
Yep.
We're looking at the takedown average. He's got a higher strike count landed, 3.7 versus only 1.8
no, this is
for
not
Brundage.
Going to be a strike fest at all.
No. Yeah, it's not
going to be a fist fight.
I think not lousy. Lousy's right. Yeah, it's like sloppy wrestling, back and forth type stuff. More strikes landed by Malkoun.
Probably be a boring fight.
Yeah, Malkoun gets a few more strikes than Brundage per round. A lot of wrestling, a lot of grappling.
Jab, fake hook, then go for a shoot. That might be for both fighters, actually.
Yeah. Brundage might be loading up a little bit more on his big overhands to keep the distance and stuff like that, but Malkoun will read it, and Malkoun has the, just the better record.
The better fight IQ as well.
Better fight IQ, man.
Brundage against, who was it? Dumas.
Yeah.
He kept on pulling guard and trying to go for guillotine. He did it a couple times.
Yeah.
And then Dumas Dumas just waited it out, and he was able to get on top, and that's how you won the decision because the control time.
Lost by decision.
Yeah.
Just literally just let the other guy just be on him for that long. Can't win a fight. So third fight, I mean, this is a dangerous fight. Maybe Brundage 4 fights in a row. This could be his last opportunity.
That might be true.
But Malkoun's a horrible matchup, right?
He's
better
the same
at everything.
fighter.
Literally same fighter, but just better at everything and younger.
Yep.
So Malkoun's the pick, and I think Malkoun by decision. And so if there's a good price for Malkoun by decision.
That's a good point.
If it goes a distance bet, if that's a good price, whatever the good price is, Malkoun by decision, if that's really good, I'm going for that.
Yeah. I like it. Let's wait till the next fight. Thanks, guys. Welcome to the We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. We are talking about Tim Means, Andre Fialho.
Yeah, Fialho. Could be Fialho. Yeah.
I'm going
from Portugal.
Method of victory is going to be KO.
Nice.
If you just look at the last, let's say 11 fights of Fialho,
God.
they're all been either losses by KO or wins by KO.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to be any difference because Tim Means like to put some, at least when he's striking, likes to come forward.
He is a pressure fighter for sure.
He likes that dirty boxing. He likes the clinch. He likes that type of stuff. And Fialho, Andre. How about Andre? That works for me. Yep. Andre, he doesn't mind getting punched because he has that type of power. So Tim Means going to come forward with the dirty boxing. Either he's going to clip him. Yeah. I think Andre's going to get him out of there. It might be a first round. I'm not going to pick a fighter, but it might be a first round type knockout.
Just with the style matchup. Fialho is clean counters and Tim Means is dirty fighting. So yeah, for me, my pick is Tim Means. He's 39 years old though, and Fialho is 29. It makes a difference. It could be the difference maker here too. But both of them got the same reach. They're both coming off of 3 losses in a row. But we said Fialho got knocked out in his last 3 fights, but he fought killers like Buckley and Salikov. We know Salikov. And Jake Matthews, all name fighters, so it's not like he's getting KO'd by nobodies. And then Tim Means got submitted by Alex Morano, another name fighter, in the second round. Got a split decision loss to Max Griffin. Max Griffin's, solid. And then submitted by the great Kevin Holland. And then their last wins, Fialho had a clean knockout counter in the first round.
Violent knockout with
Van Camp. And then who else? Miguel Beza, which we had a lot of respect for Miguel Beza. Technical brawler, and he KO'd him in the first round. He's got a lot of decent wins, man. And lost to Michel Pereira, which we all know is the dancer fighter, flipping and everything like that.
Capoeira.
Yeah, man, great fighter. I would say great fighter. And people that Means beat 4 fights ago, Nicholas Dalby, respect for him. Dalby's a really good fighter. Mike Perry. So
bare knuckle champ himself.
Yeah. We got some decent records, man. They were both doing good until they went on this 3-fight losing streak each. So it's kind of one of those fights where it's kind of maybe like loser goes home type thing,
Yes.
Loser gets knocked out of the UFC. Tim Means is 39, like we said. Fialho is 29, 10-year age difference. For me, I'm just going with Means. I like that lousy pick, though, with the KO. Look at Fialho, and it's just been happening. And he is a killer be killed guy. Look at his last 5 fights, all KOs. Either he wins by KO or loses by KO. It's hard to imagine Tim Means KOing Fialho. It could happen. If Fialho is
he doesn't mind getting hit.
Yeah, what if Tim Means just throws a random head kick at the end of a 3-punch combination and it lands or some shit? You never quite know. It's hard to know how this is gonna go. I feel like Andre Fialho keeps good distance most of the time. I don't. He's got the clean counters, but Tim Means is active as far as he throws a lot. So he opens himself up for getting countering too. So it's kind of a dangerous
100%,
fight.
Especially early on in that Morano fight.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a first round knockout, but how hard Morano was throwing because Means just leaves himself open.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's gonna be a knockout, but I can't pick a fighter.
Yeah, I like Tim Means his activity, pressure fighting. these are types of fighters that can really, put pressure on and throw those combinations and make it hard, and he doesn't walk into punches too much, too bad, but he does leave himself open. When you throw that many punches in a row, it's kind of dangerous. But one thing I did notice about Fialho is that he wasn't blocking the head kick from Buckley too much. Like, he kind of had good distance, but the one thing he wasn't really blocking, it's something that he could correct easily in this fight. I'm sure he will, but it's just one thing that I noticed, that Tim Means can throw a head kick. That's something that could happen, just to add to his combinations. But yeah, man, I just like Tim Means' dirty style, man. Going forward, throwing lots of punches, landing some, missing some.
And he wants to be there. So.
Yeah, he fights with a lot of force. Even 39 years old, but he still fights like he is got something to lose. So
almost his 50th fight.
Nothing to lose, sorry. Yeah, my God, this is crazy. 32, 15, and 1 is his record. Almost 50 fights. Yeah. So I'm excited for this fight because both of them have a lot to prove with the three losses in a row for each of them, and I'm really hoping for a great fight. I'm actually really looking for this fight as one of the fight of the nights, or at least for the prelims anyway.
It's gonna be an entertaining fight.
Yep. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. We are talking about the Miles Johns Dan Argueta fight. I'm going inside distance, and I think Miles Johns actually gets a knockout in this fight.
And for me, I like Argueta's grappling. I like how he's getting better from fight to fight. It's a close fight. It's minus 170 for Argueta, slight favorite, 170 to make 100. And I'm just going Argueta. Should be probably by decision, but I'm just going to say Argueta money line because he's relatively cheap. I just feel like he's got the pressure, really. Yes. Miles Johns has, like, the better striking. I mean, he has striking in general. Argueta doesn't strike. He throws, but it's not really.
His striking is more there so he can set up a takedown.
100%. Yeah. Like, that's what he does, is just go for takedowns, relentless with it. I just think that Argueta he's had only 3 fights in the UFC. One of them is a decision loss, his first fight to Damon Jackson. He decision beat Nick Aguirre, and then he no contested Ronnie Lawrence, which was one of those things, actually, we saw this weekend where he had a sub, and then the other guy said, I didn't tap. It's like, but I saw you do something like with like 2 things. It wasn't in the same spot, but he tapped one on one place, and then he tapped second like right away on somewhere else, and he's like, I didn't tap. It was kind of a weird situation.
Inside the leg and then outside the leg.
Exactly. It was weird. But Miles John is coming off, let's see, he's been in the UFC for a long time, actually. He's been around for 4 years. He's like 6-2. He's got some KOs. He can be a dangerous fighter here. Got really good leg kicks, I would say. I just feel like the pressure that Argueta can put is something that Miles, I think, is better when he pressures. You know what I mean? But like, he's not like a clean counterpuncher type guy. He's a guy with good, he's tough. He's got good power type guy. And I just feel like Argueta, just because he's getting better from fight to fight, and he can, when you smother Miles, then it's harder to throw the leg kicks, right? It's like anytime you smother somebody, it's just harder to do what you want to do. And that's the only reason I'm really going with Argueta is I saw Miles get taken down a little bit, I think, and I just like Argueta looks to be that style. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming, that Argueta is improving enough to kind of put the pressure, throw the fake punches, and just get the takedowns. And
well, if he does take him down, it's gonna be a problem for him because he can submit people, even though he hasn't done it in the UFC. Yeah, but in the like. A lot of Strike Force type stuff, like not Strike Force, but LFA. And he has submitted people.
Yeah, 4 subs and 2 KOs in that. So not bad. But he's 9-1.
But if he tries to stand and strike with him, it's gonna be
it's a knockout.
It's gonna be a knockout for sure.
But I kind of like. So you were saying inside the distance?
Yeah, inside the distance, and I personally think Miles Johns is gonna knock him off. Yeah. But like inside the distance,
just in case a sub happens or something.
Just in case, like, Argueta gets the back.
Right. Just in case something weird happens.
But I don't think that's going to happen because I think Miles John is a wrestler himself, but that turned into a striker.
Right.
But, Miles Johns for the win, in my opinion. But, like, I think inside distance, if you are going to bet this.
Yeah, it's another fight where, there's some other fights, the first couple fights that I really like on the prelim. This is the last fight on the prelim, and this is just... it's almost a toss-up fight as far as the odds again.
Fighters on the come-up.
Yeah. So, yeah, going with Argueta. Lousie's going with Miles Johns. He's thinking by KO. I'm just thinking, who knows? So I'm just doing Argueta money line, and we'll see what happens. Not sure if I'm going to add it to the parlay or not, but it's just one of those fights, It should be a good one just because both of them are kind of, good records. 13-2 for Mike Johns and 9-1 for Argueta. So it's going to be an interesting fight just because they're winners. So thanks for listening, guys.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let us know if you want us to keep doing these prelims.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're doing the whole card.
Yep.
Like every single fight on the card.
It's our pleasure. It's fun.
Yeah, it's actually kind of neat. There's some fights where like there's zero chance this fighter is gonna lose, and it's actually kind of cool because there's some ways to win us some actual money here. So let us know if you want us to keep doing it. So thanks everybody.
Main card, first fight on the main card for the UFC Fight Night Gamrot versus Fiziev. First fight on the main card, it's Ricardo Ramos fighting Charles Jourdain at featherweight, 145 pounds. And I'm going, my pick is a backhand. My pick is Charles Jourdain.
My pick is Charles Jourdain as well.
Let's go. Minus 150. 150 to make 100.
That's actually good value.
I love this price.
Yeah.
Some people might say, oh, it's 50-50 and Jourdain's a little bit too expensive. I'm like, nope. This is sweet.
I actually think this is not Ramos's weight. He should move up a level because he tries to cut. In his last fight, he missed weight by 9 pounds.
My goodness.
They had to scrap the fight against Jared Gordon.
How old is this guy? He's 28 and he's missing weight by 9 pounds?
9 pounds.
At the age of 28? 9 times?
Nah.
9 times. Yeah, Ferris Bueller. I'm sorry.
That's like...
Bad joke. Bad joke. Bad joke. But seriously, 9 pounds, that's ridiculous.
You can't, it's like another weight class. You can't fight that guy.
It's literally another weight class. 9 pounds up is 154, which is literally making 155.
Yeah.
Whatever, 1 pound away, whatever. It's crazy.
But that's messed up. But so if you move to up to 155, that'd probably be better for him. Ramos has that weird capoeira striking, kind of like Michael Pereira type fighter.
Yeah, kicks, a lot of kicks.
Yeah, he has KO power. He showed that against Danny Chavez in his last fight.
Yeah, if somebody runs into his hand somehow, he might knock you out or something. The spinning elbow you're talking about. The spinning elbow one? Yeah. I mean, some ridiculous knockout like a spinning elbow against a guy who's coming forward.
That's a style, though.
It is a style. That's true. I'm not going to say it's not skillful. It was skillful, but I'm just saying it's like if someone's coming at you, all you got to do is, duck, spinning elbow. Yeah. It's like good knockout, but it's not happening versus Jourdain.
No.
It's just
with
not.
His expertise.
Yeah.
I think he has faster hands than Ramos in general.
God, yes. Ramos, I don't feel like Ramos doesn't even really like to throw hands. He just does it to keep you off him. He likes to throw kicks, really, and he loads up on him.
And he wants to keep the range, so he does those kicks, and
he does keep the range.
Dances around.
That's exactly him. Keeps the range.
The Jourdain also does combos with his hands.
Hell yeah, combos.
If somehow
3-4 punches.
Ramos actually gets him on his back, which I don't think he's gonna wrestle Ramos in general.
Yeah.
But Jourdain is active on his back, so he's not gonna stay there.
Listen, we saw Jourdain get off the ground versus Gracie, an absolute legendary family.
The name.
Yeah, the name and what he's done in jiu-jitsu too, and what he's even done in the UFC. It's he's dangerous on the ground, and Jourdain's like, nope, I'm just gonna get up.
Yeah.
And Ramos is not even close to a grappler as Gracie. Yeah, it's like Ramos does have 2 takedowns a fight, but his takedowns are not like clean wrestling takedowns. It's like body lock,
trip.
Yeah, and Jourdain already proved he can handle that against a Gracie, who's a world champion jiu-jitsu. Black belt. Top tier.
When you think of jiu-jitsu and grappling, you think of the Gracie family in general.
100%.
And Ramos is not a Gracie. So.
No. So Ramos loads up on his kicks. Easy to see coming.
Telegraph.
Yeah, and Jourdain, when he's on his game, he can easily evade leg kicks. So head kicks, no problem, because Ramos is loading up. Jourdain's going to have no problem, in my opinion. Ramos does not throw with almost any power on his punches. It's not enough to keep a guy like Jourdain off you.
Yeah.
So Jourdain can go in and out quickly, jump back out really quickly. When he goes forward, he throws 3-4 punch combinations with uppercuts. Confident. He has power. He's he is a volume puncher, but he throws with some heat and consistently.
He throws with intention.
Round. Throws with intentions, round after round. Like we said, I think he's good defense. He gets the high guard up at the right times against guys who are competent strikers. I don't think Ramos is a competent puncher. He's a competent kicker, but not a puncher. And so Jourdain's going to be easily blocking the punches if Ramos can even connect with some punches. No problems. I think Jourdain wins this fight with his boxing easily. Unanimous easily. And I think that the kicks easily gets out of the way of those. Body lock, no problem getting out of those, even if Ramos can get him. Jourdain's actually relatively fast, I would say. I would consider Jourdain a pretty fast fighter. Ramos also, to get the body lock, Ramos stands really far away. So to get a body lock against a guy like Jourdain, you're going to need Jourdain to make a huge, huge mess up of going too close to Ramos. But Jourdain is smart with the punches, the combinations, knows when to kind of get out of the way. Jourdain is just kind of a beast, kind of. He doesn't knock everyone out, but he throws these volume combinations and he lands, and he can kind of hurt you and just keep sting you enough.
Let's not talk about lock.
Well, I mean, there's so much potential, but we love this fight.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say that. Yeah, definitely putting money on
this. This is a one-sided fight.
It's a one-sided fight. It feels like that because if you can't keep Jourdain off you with your own punches, you're screwed. Yeah. If you don't throw enough leg kicks, you're screwed. Ramos throws some leg kicks, but he loads up on them. Jourdain, we said, can get out of the way of people who don't load up on the leg kicks. Some guy who's loading up easily gets out of the way. Ramos really only has the kicks. It's not a contest in our opinion. So we love this fight. We love Jourdain in this fight. Minus 150. We think it's a steal.
Yeah, the money line. This is the value.
Absolutely. 150 to make 100 on Charles Jourdain. That's our pick. Both of our picks.
Welcome to We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. We are talking about the Bryan Battle, AJ Fletcher fight. I am going Bryan Battle. Bryan Battle is a long, rangy kickboxer. Even if AJ brings it to the ground, Bryan Battle has those long, rangy legs with those long arms. He can get subs.
Minus 170. Minus 170. I like him too.
Bryan Battle?
Yeah, minus 170 to make 100. I'm picking Battle too.
Yeah, this is a good fight for people that love parlays. So I like Bryan Battle in a parlay.
Simple, right? You just battle money line.
Yeah.
No getting fancy about how it's going to happen. Just it's going to happen.
Yeah. AJ Fletcher is more of he's strong. He's a wrestler.
Yeah. Good athlete in the first round.
I believe you said that he has gas tank issues.
I feel like in his last fight, you could see, not in his last fight, he got a sub. He won by sub, but against Lusa. Or Ang Lusa. Lusa's a really good fight. I would say he's a really good fight.
Yeah.
But regardless, that's not the point. The point is that in the first round it was relatively competitive. Lusa won the first round, but it was competitive. And in the second round, Fletcher was keeping distance, manipulating distance smartly, coming in and out of range, throwing decent combinations. Jab wasn't as good. Punches weren't quite up to par with Lusa, and we know Lusa's really good by his last fight last weekend. How good he really is. But Fletcher in the second round, he wasn't keeping that distance in the second or third round. He started going right up to him. Thing is, like Lousy always says, if you go in to somebody's range and you don't throw and you're waiting on them, that's what Fletcher was doing, man. He started getting bloody. His nose was bloody.
Yeah, you're going to get knocked out.
You're going to get knocked out. And I'm actually surprised he didn't get knocked out. But the point is that second and third round, he got bloodied on his face. And he was doing it to himself. He was just coming in close, but he wasn't throwing, waiting for some, and then Lusa would throw, smack him, and then Fletcher would try and counter, and it was too late. And all of a sudden, his head movement wasn't there like it was in the first round. So what I'm saying is, as the fight goes on, Fletcher is suspect. His gas tank is suspect. His IQ is suspect. You look at Battle.
If you just look at records, you think AJ Fletcher is going to be okay?
Yeah, 10-2.
Okay, 10-2.
Yeah, let's go.
But when you actually dissect it,
yes,
this is Bryan Battle's fight to win.
Shit, Bryan Battle's 10-2 as well, and he's an Ultimate Fighter champion.
Ultimate Fighter champ. He won all 15 against Renat.
He's 21-1.
Yeah.
Huge record. He even submitted Kevin Lee in 1 minute.
Yeah.
And Kevin Lee, we got respect for him, even though he's retired. So, and Battle went the distance with him.
Yeah.
So
it's just the range and the kickboxing. It's going to be a fun fight to watch for me to put on a parlay. And
it's fun, man. Battle has a 10-inch reach advantage.
It's going to be great.
This is ridiculous. So we're talking about a guy like Fletcher who comes in, first round he's pretty good. Bryan Battle, Fletcher doesn't throw enough in my opinion compared to Bryan Battle. Battle throws a lot of leg kicks, a lot of kicks in general.
Because he can.
He can, and he's got the distance, so he's like, I'll throw kicks. And what I love about Battle is he's active. He throws a lot of kicks. And when you come in too close, he can knock you out if you come too close. So if Fletcher comes too close, you get knocked out. If Fletcher wants to keep distance and just come in, manipulate range a little bit in the first round, Battle will still kick you a lot. Fletcher is good, but he doesn't throw enough. Against a guy like Battle, how are you going to overcome a 10-inch reach disadvantage if you're not throwing enough? It's just really difficult.
And especially when he's keeping that range, because this guy's a wrestler, so he's going to want to close the range. But when he's kicking that much, maybe it's a bad thing that he's kicking if he's a wrestler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he can close it a lot faster or catch a kick or whatever, But, like, I don't – Battle actually stays active on the back. He's looking for subs as well, but he gets up.
Yeah, I still think Battle, like, even though he's active with the kicks, he still picks his spots well. He's just unafraid for some. I think he's just got that will in him. And so, like, he'll wait for you to do something like, okay, you pause here, he'll kick you. It's not like he's just chucking leg kicks at people. No,
he's not button mashing.
Yeah, he's not button mashing. Video game analogy. Yeah, and you said he gets up off the ground, good on the ground. He's got 2 subs in his last 6 fights and 2 KOs in his last 6 fights. He's 5-1 in his last 6. With a decision loss to the 21-1.
Look at his last fight. It was a
Dino.
14-second knockout.
Yeah, literally. I mean, regardless of whether Gabe Green went forward on him, a little too much pressure. Fact is that Bryan Battle knows how to time you in
14
exchange.
seconds.
14 seconds, man. Got right next to him, and Fletcher got right next to Lusa, and Lusa didn't finish him. But I feel like Battle can finish. That's why I think that's why we're both saying Battle by money line. Just Battle in general.
Battle's going to win this fight.
He's going to win. Yeah. Appreciate the listening, guys. Going with Bryan Battle. Minus 170, 170 to make 100. Appreciate the listening, guys.
We are talking about the Michelle Waterson-Gomez versus Marina Rodriguez fight. She will forever be known as Michelle Waterson. I don't care if she gets married like 19 times. And she has like 19 like hyphens. She will always be known as Michelle Waterson.
Karate hottie.
That's right.
Michelle Waterson.
By the way, my pick is Marina Rodriguez, money line. This fight is just 2.0. It's going to be the same fight.
They just fought 3 fights ago.
Yeah, it's just going to be the same fight. I don't know. Like, is she going to learn that much, like, to do something differently in this fight? I don't think so. I think Marina's going to do the same thing she did before.
Yeah.
So, punch, kicks, takedown defense.
Yeah, good takedown.
The only way Waterson wins this fight is by the wrestling. And she does have wrestling, but like she's going to need to like pressure with that wrestling. Always consistently with the pressure and the wrestling in this fight for her to win this fight. So I don't see that happening. I think Marina's going to keep her at distance with her striking, and I think this is a wrap for with this duel.
Yep, I'm picking Marina Rodriguez as well. She's minus $300 to make 100. They just fought 3 fights ago, and Marina Rodriguez won. 2 of the judges' scorecards was 49-46. It's 4 rounds to 1. So they just
this is only 3 rounds.
This is a 3-round fight, so it could be a little bit closer, et cetera. And that's maybe why it's minus 300 instead of maybe minus 500 if it was a 5-round fight. More chances for the better fighter to win. But I feel the same way. Marina Rodriguez can kick and punch very well. She's been top 5 for a while, and Michelle is not top 5. She's like number 10 or even number 11 at this point in her career. And Michelle Waterson goes for kicks. Her punches, again, she doesn't really throw with any really heat on them, so Marina's not going to worry about the punches. So it's really Michelle Waterson, the kicker, versus Marina Rodriguez, the complete striker, the puncher and kicker. On top of all that, Michelle doesn't throw with many feints because, again, she throws kicks. It's hard to feint kicks, you know what I mean, unless you're Izzy who, do the little hip little hezzies, and she doesn't do that. So Marina's going to read the kicks well, like she did last time. And Marina, the thing about her is that she's got great defense as far as striking defense. Wrestling, like Lousy said, that is the one X factor. If Michelle Waterson somehow comes up with a game plan of like, I'm going to pressure and I'm going to go for takedowns no matter what, that could be a bit of a problem. However, in my opinion, Michelle Waterson stands too far away. And she's not a natural-born wrestler, so for her to put pressure, she's going to have to get closer. When you get closer, you could get clipped. And I think when Marina's really good at keeping distance the way Michelle is, except Marina keeps the distance and also knows how to throw punches and land some pretty heavy strikes of punches. So the distance control, Michelle stands a little bit farther, but Marina knows how to manipulate the distance a little bit better and have the defense so she can counter and throw back, whereas Michelle just stands super far away and then just kind of like, runs in like 2 steps and goes for a kick. And, Marina, it's very repetitive with Michelle. So anyways, Marina, she's going to have the defense. She's good at blocking punches and kicks. Really great body kicks, anything. She's good at with her hand placement for defense. So Michelle shouldn't really be landing anything. And then when Marina wants to throw punches, it's going to make Michelle scared of the punches. And this is what's going to happen, just like last fight. Marina's going to start feinting now. Fake punches, feinting with the punches, feinting. And then Michelle's going to bite on it. And then Marina then throws a leg kick and lands. So it's going to be like a lot of volume landed for Marina. Even though Marina doesn't throw a lot of volume, it's going to land all the time because Michelle is going to be scared. Like, is it a punch or a kick? I don't know. I can only kick. So it's kind of one of those fights where I think it's a great chance to make some money on Marina Rodriguez money line.
Yep. We don't need to say like this is going to go the distance. This is going to go the distance.
Yeah.
But like that type of line is going to be ridiculous. The props aren't out yet, so we can't look at them.
Right.
But like, it's going to be ridiculous because every fight seems with Michelle Waterson seems to be a decision.
Right.
So
it's like 8 decisions in her last 9 fights or something like that. A ridiculous amount of decisions, either losing or winning.
But like, Marina's going to win this fight, and that's my pick.
Exactly. Marina too. A lot of decisions, like 8 out of her last 11 or something. It's crazy. So it's going to be probably too expensive to bet decision. So just, we're going Marina Rodriguez money line. She'll win. We've been drinking. This is the co-main event. This is Bryce Mitchell versus Dan Ige at featherweight, 145 pounds. My pick is going to be Bryce Mitchell.
My pick is Bryce Mitchell as well. I'll start.
Yeah.
Bryce Mitchell is. We don't need to say that he's a wrestler. He's kind of my guy. He's been my guy since Barbosa, and that would be etched in my brain like as awesome as it gets for like a fight in general.
Yeah. He knocked him down.
Thug nasty.
Thug nasty.
Thug nastied him.
He raps.
He turned himself into a verb.
Actually, you know what? Thug Nasty was on our first podcast ever.
Yeah.
Remember that? It was about like 9 to 10 months ago, like
brilliant.
last November. That's crazy. He lost to Topuria.
Yeah.
But he was our pick, and he's our guy, dude. He's
always been our guy.
Yeah. It puts the pressure. Doesn't have a lot of power on the hands, but he did knock down Edson Barboza 2 fights ago. We were high on him. We still kind of are high on him, and he puts the pressure. He knows how to throw some punches at fake punches and go for takedowns.
He just doesn't stop with the pressure with the wrestling.
Yeah.
For Ige, his key to victory is takedown defense. If he's able to stifle at least some of these takedowns and use his power and hand speed, he's gonna have a chance in this. But if he can't stop it, it's gonna be a huge problem because that's all Bryce Mitchell does is the pressure and the wrestling.
Yeah, it's basically that. If Mitchell can't get the takedown, then Ige wins. If that's it.
That's it.
But Mitchell.
Are we still talking?
What are we talking for? Mitchell is minus 190, 190 to make 100. He's got a slightly better ranking. He's beaten slightly better guys, but Ige's, he's a good striker, man. But the problem is, about 3 fights ago, he fought Evloev. Movskar Evloev, and it wasn't. I mean, Evloev's a really good wrestler, talented fighter. Obviously, a guy who's in the top 5, I think now. But it's not the fact that Ige lost. It's the way that he got taken down a little too easily without putting up much of a fight. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't have that fight to try and fight off the wrists, just have some will against it. Head placement, standing too close in the second and third rounds. Like Ige likes to, in the first round, keep the distance. The second round, he gets a little closer, etc. If you don't want to keep the distance, if you don't want to throw feints and make sure you're, stopping the wrestlers. Yeah, man, against a wrestler caliber of Mitchell, not saying Mitchell is Evloev's level, but Mitchell is good. He's a strong grappler. He can take
aggressive.
Guys who
very aggressive,
dude. Guys who don't get taken down like Barbosa, he can take them down. That's a high skill level of wrestling, man. So Ige doesn't have the takedown defense of Edson Barbosa, and he doesn't have the power of Edson Barbosa to keep Mitchell. And by the way, Mitchell knocked down Edson Barbosa. Mitchell really only lost to Topuria, and Topuria is like slated to fight for the title next.
Yes.
Volkanovski keeps mentioning his name, that he's going to probably fight him next if he doesn't move up to fight.
Topuria is amazing.
F155. So Yeah, Tamires amazing, man. Like, kept the distance well, was, like, in and out in range, hitting hard to the body. Like, he was doing so many things right. Then he beat Emmett, who's a top 5, perennial top 5. So Mitchell lost only to the best.
By the way, that was a dismantling of a fight.
It was.
And Mitch, I was so rooting for Mitchell because I'm such a Bryce Mitchell fan.
Yeah. Yeah, we like his energy, his personality.
This might be a bias pick, but I'm still picking Mitchell because of his pressure.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, Ige's a ranked fighter. He's top 10 as well. Mitchell is also ranked. It's just style matchups here, you know? Like, Mitchell doesn't throw with power, even though, obviously, he knocked down Barbosa. But Ige is just one of those things where it's like, has he improved in 1 year? It's been about 1 year since the Evloev fight where he got taken down at will. Has he improved enough? He's only fought 2 strikers in the last year, so it's we haven't seen it. He hasn't been tested. But guess what? You're gonna get tested by someone like Bryce Mitchell, because Bryce Mitchell, he's a specialist. That's what he does. In your face. In your face. He's unafraid, and he knows how to keep distance actually really well while still putting pressure, which is a hard thing to do. But he showed he can do it against the best like Barbosa. Barbosa's winning even today in the top 10. So Mitchell is still high on our radar, and yeah, we're going with Mitchell that he's going to get the wrestling, the takedowns, and he's got solid top control, and so yeah, going with Mitchell. Should be interesting first round, obviously, because Ige does have power and he's got good balance in the first, but yeah, going with Mitchell, guys. Welcome, we've been drinking MMA. This is the main event of the fight night. So this is Rafael Fiziev versus Mateusz Gamrot. And my pick is going to be Rafael Fiziev to win. I'm
going Fizzy as well.
Fizzy.
Gamrot, he is probably one of the best wrestlers in the division.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't say the UFC in general.
No. But just in this weight class, he's just, ever since Khabib's gone. Wait, this is 155. So we're other than the champion.
Yeah.
He's the second best. He's
at least one of the best wrestlers in the UFC.
Second or third, I don't know. Yeah.
One of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's what he's known for, is wrestling, pressure. I'm going Fizzy because just watching the Gaethje Fizzy fight.
Yeah.
That was a war. And he's ready to fight like that every single time. So if he fights like that against a guy who's not ready for a war, I don't think Gamrot is.
Yeah.
So I think Fizzy's going to win.
So Fizzy, man, he's got 5 significant strikes landed per minute. Gamrot has 3. Gamrot has 4 takedowns per fight, and Fizzy has 0. So it's a striker versus grappler, basically. Gamrot does have a KO from a while ago against a guy who just ran into his punch, basically. So he's not going to KO really many people at all. It's striker versus grappler. So in my opinion, Fizzy has fought somebody relatively close. Not exactly. Obviously, Rafael Dos Anjos, he KO'd him in the 5th round, and he's a former champion. Obviously, Dos Anjos is a lot older than he used to be past his prime. However, when you see Mateusz Gamrot wrestle, right? You saw him against Jalen Turner in his last fight. He got rocked. He got knocked down in the 2nd round. Third round, he got buckled. But Jalen Turner didn't keep that distance and keep that distance management. Otherwise, he could have won that fight. So my point is that Fiziev has better distance management than Jalen Turner. Fiziev has proven that he can beat the best like Dos Anjos, have a close fight with Justin Gaethje that some people thought, Fiziev at least took the 1st round and Gaethje with the experience got the 2nd and 3rd, but it was still close fight. Good fight. Had a great showing. And Fiziev has the power, the combinations, the distance control, the body kicks. Listen, Gamrot, when he comes forward, his distance management is okay. It's not great, though. His body and his legs are definitely open for kicks, and Fiziev kicks hard, really hard. His body kicks are amazing, super, super loud when he makes contact with your stomach.
And he's going to get respect real quick.
Real quick. And Mateusz, I think, counts on people who are getting a little too close, and Fiziev, he used to, but now Fiziev in his last few fights, that's why he's really turned the corner as far as his ranking. His consistency has gone up. He doesn't just go in like a moron and get punched in the face. That doesn't happen. That was maybe happening in his first 2 UFC fights. Now he's keeping the distance smart, throwing kicks smartly, waiting for his opportunity, and when he throws heavy punches, combinations as well. And, great jab, all that kind of stuff. In my opinion, Gamrot goes for chain wrestling. Well, he'll throw like a fake punch, get close to you, and then he'll go for the takedown. But like we said, Fiziev could stop Dos Anjos' takedowns, get up from those. He should be able to be just fine against Gamrot. Fiziev is the better athlete. Fiziev is a better striker all around. Distance control is better. Minus 160, I think, is a great price.
And
pretty great price.
I'm not saying Gamrot's not going to get Fiziev down.
Yeah.
Gamrot, that's what he does.
Gamrot's a hard worker in there. Like, if he grabs a leg, he doesn't just give up. He tries to go for the double. He works
Different
hard.
Angles.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, like, Fiziev is going to get up.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way it is. I think Fiziev is going to win.
And he's going to light him up. I think he's going to leg kick Gamrot. I think he's going to hurt Gamrot in the fight. Gamrot gets too close like he did to Jalen Turner, and Jalen Turner almost shut his lights out. I think Fiziev can easily knock out Gamrot in this fight.
Yes.
I don't think that's a problem at all for him. At minus 160, I think, is a really, really good price. I think he wins this fight a lot of times and even ends it in a KO a lot. I mean, this is, for me...
Just watch the Gaethje fight if you want. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're wrong. Watch the Fizzy Gaethje fight, and that'll turn your opinion around.
Yeah, definitely. I think overall, I think we said our 2 cents, man. Gamrot is a hard worker in there. He does like to pressure a little bit, but Fiziev pressures maybe a little bit more. And when that happens, Gamrot won't be able to do his normal, I pressure you, I do a fucking chain wrestle with my punch and take you down. It's going to be different. Gamrot's going to have to adapt to Fiziev because Fiziev already knows what Gamrot does. He's proven he can do, get up off the ground against Dos Anjos and do things like that. Gamrot has to prove that he can strike with an elite striker like Fiziev. I don't think it's going to be easy for him to adapt, man.
I just don't know.
I just don't think so. But, I'm looking forward to it anyways, just as I'm a huge fan of Fiziev. We both are. We've seen him for, 3-4 fights coming that he was going to be in the top 10, and we felt like he was. And this is
a great main event.
It's one of our guys that we love to watch.
This is a great main event.
If you haven't seen Fiziev before, just watch out for those kicks, those body kicks. They're absolutely monstrous. 155er, but it sounds like he's like 205er when he makes contact. It's amazing power. So, all right, guys, we're going with Fiziev, and
good main event.
I just really love this.
Card.
I love the matchup. I think it's a great victory for Fiziev, and thanks for listening.